so much. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces, and like be the first in 2023. We were the last as well, so it's a nice group. I really appreciate it. And I want to start out by sharing just a short poem, which will kind of serve as possible inspiration for tonight. And I'm going to also paste it in the chat because I know like I'm very visual. So like listening to someone read something, it is a different experience than reading it. So just going to pull that out. That should bring you to the image. And it's called Two Couches. I lived in the living room, white couch announced. When the company came, they came to me. I lived in the family room, orange couch said. I held children with their books and snacks. I was for special days, declared white couch. Everyone sat on me for family pictures. I was for every day, orange couch sighed. I know the feel of a soft, warm dog. So this part is a little bit of a discussion. So unless you have background noise or something, you're more than welcome to stay off mute and jump in at any time. But what I was looking for to share with you all is some kind of descriptions of an object, everyday object. This one happens to be from the point of view of the object, but I wanted us all to think about and possibly share an object that's been in your life, either in the past or currently, that has some kind of meaning, or, you know, maybe it's like, you know, how like the fly on the wall, like it's been watching you and sort of your life. It might be a good stand-in for just exploring whatever arises. And the reason I chose this poem is because for me, like one of the things I think about is an old, slightly ugly sofa that no longer exists, but saw many migraines as well as, you know, many happy times. So does anyone has anything come to anyone's mind while I've been talking? Heidi?
I mean, this is very literal, but I was thinking of my couch and how much of every day I spend on it feeling crummy with migraine, and how comforting it is, even when it can be uncomfortable, literally. Yeah. And I mean, I almost like personifying it even more than like the poem did too, like it giving comfort, like emotional comfort.
I love that. So it's not I'm not the only one that went there, I guess.
And I was going to share too. So one of the things that I treat myself to is the soft blankets, because I'm really sensory. So not only when I sleep, but when I come down, like in my den or elsewhere, these soft blankets and even putting around my pillow can be so comforting. So, you know, getting those, I've got it as a gift a few years ago from my sister. And then, you know, I replace them, but having that softness is just something that is soothing when you're in pain, but when you're feeling better, it's also, you know, that in pets too. And so petting your pets, when I think of comfort,
wait, what's
when that dog comes near you, it knows you're not feeling well.
Yes,
being able to pet the dog is like the best feeling in the world for me. When they're not excited, of course, and barking.
Oh yeah, as long as they're not barking. That's
yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Tom?
I'll try to keep it short because we got to start writing and I'm ready to go. Growing up in my family right outside Philadelphia, we had what was called the museum living room. No eating, no drinking, no smoking, no televisions, nothing. It was for my parents to entertain people. And other than that, you didn't go in the living room. but we had a gold couch in there. It was really a love seat. It was really pretty, but you know, it was clean because nobody ate in there and nobody sat in front of the television. But I always remember like 55 years ago when I started getting these terrible headaches, it was a real short couch, but you could put your feet over the edge. And like when I was in pain, I could put like ice on my face and nobody would come in that room because it was the museum. Nobody would bother me. And I always remember I felt some comfort because I grew up with that sofa and that gold love seat. And I always remember it. And I remember when my mother died 20 years ago, I wanted to keep it in the family and my brother-in-law and sister arranged to take it away. I said, it's free. They had it beautifully recovered in gold and new cushions. I just saw it last weekend, but it's like a childhood memory of not feeling so great, but it was just like something, it was like a rock you could come home to and make you feel a little bit better. Thank you.
Wow, so much comfort items. I love it.
Tom, I just have to ask if it had slip covers on it.
It did actually, it did have gold slip covers because my mother was Italian and everything, the lamps and everything was covered. You know, Italian homes, lampshades, everything you sit on was covered just in case you spilled something. Yes, we had slip covers.
Yeah. We have time for one or two more people to share.
Well, um, I'm thinking about the little statuettes and things of cardinals that I have in my house, because that was my late wife's favorite bird. And, you know, when I see them in the house and everything, it reminds me of the good times and the wonderful life that we had together and how she changed me for the better. And every year when I send out holiday cards, they always have had a cardinal on them.
Oh, I love that.
And it's a tradition that I continue to keep up. And other birds also remind me of that because she also liked hummingbirds, which occasionally land up in our backyard. And we've owned birds all our lives. We were together and the cockatiels. And so it symbolizes the freedom and the unconditional love that birds can give to people.
Yeah, I think people often discount like what wonderful pets they can be. I don't have any, but my uncle does, and they're truly amazing.
Yeah, and they're extremely smart.
Yes.
Most people don't realize that they have seen crows actually make tools to fetch their foods out of things like paper clips and stuff. I mean, it's incredible. And I'll shut up, I'm going too far.
Well, this is all stuff that you can write.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, and if you didn't get a chance to share, we'll share more after, so don't worry. I'm gonna start the timer. We're gonna write for about 10 minutes. I'll give you a 1-minute warning. And nothing is right or wrong, just write down anything that you want that comes to mind, and don't worry about how it sounds or anything like that. Just go ahead and just write. I saw someone just came on, I think Iris. So I just want to let you know, Iris, we're just writing about any object that has been in your life. For example, a comfortable blanket, a sofa, or something else in your house that has meaning to you. We have about a minute left. It never feels like a good time to stop. Unless you're really frustrated and you're like, let's stop. So how did it go? Melissa, you look like you want to say something.
So I had to sneak away and take out cookies from the oven. So I don't know the full assignment, but I believe it was probably to write about things that bring us comfort.
Mhm.
I'm a list maker, similar to the last session that we've got other list makers. So I just wrote a whole list of things
would love to
prompted
hear
by
it.
some of what the others put together.
Mhm.
And a lot of mine, again, since I'm sensory, were related to that.
Mhm. I very much relate to the blanket thing that you mentioned. I don't know what blanket you have, but I want to know. Um, but that subject aside, I think I don't know if it's a migraine thing or just a thing, but the right blanket can be so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mine were related to foods bringing comfort, being in nature,
Mhm.
observing like birds and animals in nature, feeling the warmth of the sun. So
Mhm.
I like to go outside, I cover my head with a towel, but laying in the sun and feeling the warmth of the sun for some reason just feels really good, and trying to get your vitamin D. I know I look really pale, but try to avoid the sun, but getting a little bit and feeling that warmth. Being by a fire to me can be very soothing, and feeling that warmth again, showers, baths, feeling the water, lavender. Um, I don't know, pedicures.
Mhm.
Some people get, but for me, like the paraffin wax can be very soothing too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to share how their writing went? Yeah, Tom? Oh, you're still.
Promise to keep it short. You brought up the couch and it evoked all these memories of the house I grew up in. I haven't lived there in 49 years, but all these memories of like furniture. And I'll just give you an example. We had this 1940 house, pine panel den with the old fashioned pine paneling. And that was the room that had the one telephone and the one black and white television. And it was filled with bookshelves because my mother was a librarian and she kept bringing books home all the time. And I have memories of me and my brothers watching television with my parents and my brothers and my father being the remote control because you weren't allowed to touch the television because he thought you would break it. So there were only three channels, but he would watch his shows and you didn't really have a vote. But it just, I could just picture sitting in there, what, 60 years ago or 50 years ago in that den at night, and the heat would blow in there because it was right over the heater and you were just comfortable in there. And my dad always wore a sweater and we were all comfortable in there. And then we were told to go up and do our lessons, which was really our homework. But my father would say, now go do your lessons. Then he turned the television off. But thank you for the memory about the couch. And it evokes some nice memories, which are good ones. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. I went back to my childhood home too. So that was fun, especially like, and then that same couch moved to my parents' next house, like after I had left. And I probably need to like keep writing for another hour with like the saga of this one couch. So But it's fun to go back to those comfortable times.
I'll do it. Shelley,
Hi, Shelley.
hi. I also kind of wrote in a list form because it was quicker. And right now I'm in the midst of reorganizing everything. So I'm trying to live and think in a more organized fashion.
Mhm.
So I wrote, I love that saying, by the way, by Stevenson. I wrote 2023 to-do list, or maybe organizing my life, especially the paper mess. Follow lessons learned in an organizational series that I'm watching on Zoom called Simplify Days. That's her company, and she's wonderful and teaching us step by step how to get rid of all this paper hell. So I feel like the papers manage and strangulate me and overwhelm me, and I want to be calm on the insides. So the outsides, if you don't have your environment, you know how it's best suited for you, it affects you on the inside. Regulating. I also want to manage and support others with chronic pain, so that I can feel it doesn't manage me. So that's kind of a number one foundational thing I'm always trying to do. I want to
I love that.
Yeah, it's the center, it's the core, really. And because of that, I've taken on during the pandemic a particular breathing called Sky. And it's a wonderful breathing program. And I'm doing some yoga for migraine and meditation for the chronic pain. So, and those have brought great gifts to me. I never used to do them. I believed in them, but I love, but I'm actively doing it. And I'd like to revisit, I got kind of insulated during the pandemic, and because of my headache pains, that's my chronic pain. I'm to myself a lot. I'm very sociable, but I've pulled in and gotten much more to myself, more introverted. So I'd like to revisit not only the social activities on the outside of my home life. I'd also like to I've made a lot of friends online, in these groups, these private groups. So like art and different things. And that's been lovely. And
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as you're talking about wanting to be more social, you're doing just that.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And also the texting where you're not even seeing people. It's been I love writing, and it's just spilled out of me. And I love giving positive feedback because people hear complaints all day, so wherever I go, I like to say, that's terrific, or thank you so much, whatever. And people just kind of, they're like shocked to get positive feedback sometimes. So, and they deserve it. So that's kind of it. Yeah, that I don't think we think about emails and texting, that it is an avenue of expression.
Yeah, there's a writing teacher I follow, Joshua Fields Wilburn, but he talks about if you're trying to get better at writing, treat your text messages like a piece of writing. Of course, not necessarily putting pressure on yourself either.
Yeah. No, but you make it nice, make
Yeah.
it communicate something. What's his name? The person,
Joshua Fields Wilburn. I'll type it into the chat.
Wilburn. Thank you.
Mhm.
I thought that was my idea. Apparently someone else has like a million billion other people.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a nice opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
We have time for either one regular one or two quick ones, or people could stay a little later. But anyway. Was
Jim,
it-
are you gonna go?
Yeah, I was going to let you go first.
No, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to mine that it also in the writing taught me talk about how independent and free the birds can be and how specialized they are, and how and the wonders of nature and the kinds of creature it creates. And also the fact that they're able to seemingly live happy lives without a bunch of things, just as long as they have their basic needs fulfilled. That we often don't need all the stuff we have
That ties in a lot
to
with
have
what
a
Shelley
happy and
was
good life.
saying. Yeah, I love that. It ties, don't you think, Shelley, that ties into you and trying to sort of feel the way you're feeling about some of the objects in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can be, you have to look at it and say, is this cluttering, me inside? I mean, what worth does it have? Maybe someone else can use it. Those kinds of thoughts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Diane, did you want to share?
I will, but I'd be happy to let someone else go before me.
I think if you don't mind, because you're the host, sneaking in one more after you, I think we could.
Okay, I'll go then. I wrote about my bed, and I couldn't believe how I could just keep writing and writing about my bed. But then I realized how much time I've spent in it for the past 20 years, and I've gotten myself the perfect mattress. I have a blanket that's probably flammable, and I don't care, because it's just perfect. Like, I forget who was talking about it. Melissa was talking about her blanket, and I like the ribbon on my face. And I did promise myself one thing, which I've really stuck to, and that's on non-migraine days, stay out of the bed, because it reminds me of the days of depression, and I don't want to go there. So yeah, my bed has really been is my sanctuary, especially with my dog on one side and my cat on my chest. And it's a delight. It's sometimes hard to get out, even when I'm feeling well, but I try and stick to only migraine days. So that's me.
That's powerful. Thank you. Anyone else? I feel like most people have shared, so now's your chance if you haven't.
I
But
thought it
no
was a very
pressure.
good idea.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm glad it resonated. Sometimes I don't know what will resonate.
Mhm.
It basically helps people focus on living on the present.
I think that's the beauty of all these art forms that we're doing in these mindfulness series. I mean, the art, I've joined in some of the others too, but it's just such the beauty of creativity.
Lovely.
And I was just going to say, and for me, sometimes it's hard to get started on my own.
Mhm.
But when you're prompted and when you're around other people's energy that are doing that, it just feels good. So the last couple sessions, and I did one last year, have felt really good. So thank you.
You're welcome. Also, if you just Google writing prompts, and I know it's not the same as coming to a group, but there's writing prompts all over the internet too. So if you're like, I want to write, but I have no idea, like that is a good place to start on your own too.
Mm.
Well, thanks everyone. This was great. I feel calmer too, so I know that's a good thing. I hope you all have a good night, and thanks, Diane, for hosting.
Thank you, Lisa. It was really terrific. I'm so glad that all of you were here. And like Melissa said, about everybody's energy is just so uplifting.
I agree.
And thank you, Lisa. Really, thank you. Wonderful.
Lisa, you bring a calmness to this.
I
So I
sometimes it
really
can be
feel
hard.
that.
I have a 4-year-old and a job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, must center before starting.
Well, you did a great job.
But afterward, I'm
I
always
have to
thinking,
disagree with that statement you just made, because raising children is a job. It's not and a job. And it is the most important job on the planet.
That really
Well, I have 2 jobs then.
Oy, oy, oy.
Which is lovely,
Or
but
present
enough about
time.
me. But thank you, Jim. I agree, raising children is great.
Yeah, thank you,
just not-
everyone, for,
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
Thanks. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I mean,
thanks,
Happy
everyone,
New
for
Year.
showing
Thank
up.
you.
We'll see you on the next mindfulness series in 2 weeks. I believe that's when it is.
Mhm.
Good night,
Thank-
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
night. Thank you.
Have fun.